I left the New Yorker partly because I felt I had done everything I was going to be able to do there, and I wanted to be free to do other things I could not do within the New Yorker system and the Condé Nast system. Among those other things was go to Esquire and revive a cartoon tradition. A big problem with cartoons is the New Yorker is the only place that is buying them. And a big problem for cartoonists is they don't have very many places to sell cartoons. Esquire had a wonderful tradition in cartoons. Started not long after the New Yorker in 1933. Remember, the New Yorker originally in 1925 is a humor magazine. Esquire in 1933 looks at the New Yorker and says, you know what? We're going to be a man's magazine, and we're going to use cartoons. And one of the innovations they did was they used cartoons in color, full page. When Harold Ross was asked why he didn't use cartoons in color, Harold Ross said, "What's so funny about red?" I decided to leave the New Yorker. I went to Jay and said, well, I'd like to revive this tradition. And now so I retired from the New Yorker April 30th, 2017. I started at Esquire May 1st, 2017. So I only really had time to put up half of a hammock. So, it wasn't that. And in that time, we've done a lot of interesting stuff. I'm also the humor editor, so I work on the dubious achievements. The other reason I left was I started the Cartoon Bank for the New Yorker. Actually, the Cartoon Bank preceded the New Yorker. I started in 1992 with all the cartoons the New Yorker rejected. The New Yorker bought it from me in 1997. I ran it from 97 to 2008, made money for Condé, the New Yorker, the cartoonist. Then they decided it would be better run by lawyers than a cartoonist, and it went sort of downhill. And so the revenue being given to the cartoonist was often considerable, disappeared. So in leaving the New Yorker, I could start my new company, Cartoon Collections, cartooncollections.com, which has a caption contest, which you can win $100 for, which I will judge along with crowdsourcing. It also has over 10,000 New Yorker cartoons from Esquire, Playboy. Interesting thing about Playboy cartoons, it has the cartoons after the centerfold. Before the centerfold were the sexual cartoons, after were actually New Yorker, everyone contributed. And in terms of the actual highest cartoon art achieved during the 20th century, wasn't at the New Yorker. The New Yorker sort of skewed more towards whimsicality and primitivism to some extent. It started with James Thurber, but even the whole generation that was brought in when I brought in, me, Roz Chast, Michael Maslin, Mick Stevens, we were good artists, but only really artists for the kinds of jokes we were making. When you look back at the real golden age of the New Yorker cartoonists, their art was very high. Also true with Playboy. We also have cartoons from the National Lampoon and Barron's and all of that. So Cartoon Collections is going to be the mega archive of cartoons when you need it for a PowerPoint, for a textbook, for a newsletter, for a book. So, long story long, it turns out. I was going to say long story short. I left the New Yorker so I could do other things, and that at 74, I wanted to have time to do those other things, and so I'm doing them. But my last act, of course, the capstone of my career before leaving the New Yorker, was creating the New Yorker Encyclopedia of Cartoons, which is on sale here. 2 volumes weighing over 15 pounds. It comes with hernia insurance. So, yeah, a great book.